What if death was optional? What if the human lifespan wasn't limited to decades, but extended into centuries, even millennia? What if immortality wasn't a dream, but a reality? In this timeline, humanity cracked the code to eternal life in the 21st century, and everything changed forever. The discovery. It began in 2031 in a lab outside Kyoto. A biotech research group working on cellular regeneration discovered a method to reverse telomere decay, the biological clock embedded in every strand of human DNA. When combined with advanced gene editing, nanomedicine, and AI-driven diagnostics, they achieved the impossible: biological immortality. Not invincibility, not eternal youth, but the ability to stop aging permanently. The first immortals. By 2035, the treatment, called regenesis, was ready for human trials. The first recipients were terminal patients. All survived, all recovered, none aged. Their bodies repaired damage faster than it occurred. Organs regenerated, cells refreshed, hair regrew, wrinkles faded. They didn't just stop dying, they started undoing time. The world watched in disbelief. Religion reeled. Governments panicked. Markets soared. The cost of forever. The first wave of immortality wasn't for everyone. The treatment cost $12 million per person. Billionaires, political elites, and tech moguls became the first generation of post-mortals. Inequality exploded. The rich didn't just have more money. Now they had more time. Protests swept the globe. Some called it unnatural. Others called it the beginning of a new species. Humanity, version 2. The moral divide. The world split. Some embraced the future, demanding access to the technology. Others rejected it, forming anti-immortality movements. Time should end. Die free, the Natural Order League. Religious leaders declared the soul was never meant to linger. Philosophers debated the value of life without death. Artists questioned the purpose of urgency without time. But science didn't stop. Universal access. By 2047, thanks to synthetic biology breakthroughs and open-source distribution, immortality treatments became scalable. Global coalitions formed to regulate, distribute, and manage life extension. The Time Accord was signed by 112 nations, establishing age regulations, identity tracking, and mental health protocols for the newly immortal. By 2050, over 800 million people had undergone regenesis. The world's population stabilized, not through death, but through birth regulation. A new kind of society. When death disappears, everything changes. Education becomes lifelong. Careers stretch into centuries. Relationships evolve. Marriage is no longer till death do us part. It becomes renewable by contract every 50 years. Governments restructure. Term limits become time-based, not age-based. Memory regulation becomes a medical field. People live long enough to see their mistakes and fix them. The psychological cost. But forever comes with a price. Some minds break under the weight of endless memory. Suicide becomes a philosophical choice. Identity loss becomes a clinical diagnosis. A small minority, known as the faders, choose to let themselves age naturally, embracing the end. Support groups form. Therapies evolve. Consciousness archiving is introduced. People begin offloading old memories into external storage to stay mentally agile. The new generations, children born after 2070, grow up in a world where death is optional. They're taught not just how to live, but how long to live. Life planning becomes a discipline. At age 30, citizens choose: go immortal now, wait, or live naturally. There is no right answer, only personal choice. Cultural norms dissolve and reform. Art becomes deeper. Stories span centuries. Time is no longer the enemy, but a companion. The end of war? When no one dies, war changes. Conflict still exists, but not like before. Nations fight with economics, influence, and reputation. Physical violence becomes rare, irrational. Soldiers still exist, but as peacekeepers, not warriors. Killing is treated as a cosmic crime. The death of a post-mortal is considered the destruction of centuries of consciousness. The value of life has never been higher. The rise of the forever projects. In the 2080s, humanity begins building things that take generations, not because they must, but because they can. Floating cities, interstellars, planet-scale computers. The Great Orbiting Library, a ring around the Earth storing every human memory ever recorded. Purpose returns, not in survival, but in legacy. The universe opens. With time no longer limited, space travel shifts. Long-term missions become viable. Crews commit to 500-year journeys. Colonies on Mars, Europa, and Titan expand, not as outposts, but homes. Post-mortals lead these projects, not because they're better, but because they have the time to see them through. The question of soul. By 2100, philosophers still ask, are we human if we never die? Do we lose meaning without mortality? Some argue that death is necessary for depth. Others say life itself is the meaning, no matter how long it lasts. New religions emerge, old ones evolve. The concept of heaven becomes metaphor. Rebirth becomes reinvention. The world in 2174. Today, in this alternate 2174, the average age of a human is 243 years. Earth's population is stable at 8.5 billion. Death still exists, but by choice, not by force. The economy is post-scarcity. Energy is free. War is rare. Memory is infinite. And identity is fluid. The fear of dying is gone, replaced by the responsibility of living. What was gained and what was lost? We gained time, knowledge, peace, progress. We solved diseases once thought eternal, built civilizations no one could imagine, but we lost urgency, the fire of finality, the meaning that comes from knowing each moment could be your last. And in that loss, we learned a new truth. Eternity isn't freedom, it's a question, the final thought. So what would you choose? A life that ends but means everything, or a life that never ends but must always find meaning? In this timeline, humans became immortal, but what truly changed was how we chose to live.